So we start by talking about the lizard brain. And as I said, the lizard is really, the classic way to think about it. Like you think about a lizard on a rock, if you've got a lizard that lives in your garden, you know that as soon as you go anywhere near it, it just like bolts. It just darts off because its first primary thing is, I just need to make sure I'm safe. I'm going to do whatever it takes to avoid pain, to avoid death, to avoid getting attacked and picked on by a bird. And so my first sense is to just get out of here and to make sure I'm safe. And so, if you were start to think about the sort of things that would be governed by your lizard brain, and if your lizard brain is governing your mind, then you might be feeling fearful all the time. So who feels like they're kind of a bit fearful? Not all the time, but maybe some of the time, or maybe a lot of the time. A bit of fear going on. And I think in our modern society, this is not uncommon. We live in a very fear-based society. And that is essentially because people have recognized that this is the primary driver in your brain. And so if I want to get you to do something, then a great way to do that is to go to the top of the pyramid, to go to the top motivator in your brain, and that's fear. And that's why we see fear on television. That's why we see fear used in advertising. That's why we're constantly getting bombarded with messages of fear, because it's a great way to get you to do something. Does that make sense? Everyone can relate to that, can't they? And so if we start thinking then about whether you feel fearful, whether you feel overly concerned with what's going on around you, whether that's your environment, whether that's other people's opinions, okay? We can start thinking about how we respond to that. So are we prone to having angry outbursts? Are we prone to using foul language? Are we prone to getting physical? Because these are all responses that we would innately have to that fear. Okay. When you are in that fear space, you start to lock down and close down. Okay, so your adaptability decreases because your body just wants to keep it really simple to keep you safe and to keep you out of trouble. This is not the time to go experimenting and trying a new technique, okay? Because you have your way. You're the lizard. You know that if the predator comes, you have your hole and you just get into there and you get out of the way, and that works and that keeps you safe. When the predator's coming after you, it's not the time to go, hey, I wonder if I tried something different, because if you try it different and you get it wrong, you're dead. That's it, right? And so when you are locked in this sort of fear-based paradigm, then you tend to be really resistant to change, and you tend to see everything as black and white. It's like either I'm safe or I'm not, and there's no in between. Everything is totally black and white. And so what I'd love you guys to do is to start thinking about those questions. I'd love you to grab your little pads out. If you haven't got your pad out, grab a pad and pen out and start writing down some notes around these questions. So are you often fearful? Okay. Are you overly concerned with other people's opinions? Are you prone to outbursts? As I said, physical, emotional, anger, verbal. Do you find yourself resistant to change? Do you find yourself controlled by your routines? And do you find yourself stuck in black and white thinking?